Hello everybody, this is Goofsome Fox coming at you with a match here in the Riggsy Custom. This is going to be a 700 cost rated match on military base here, and this is going to be the buffed Riggsy Custom, which was buffed recently in the May 2024 unit adjustments. And this is a suit I really wanted to cover, as it is a suit I've talked about before, especially with kind of my history of this suit, of how I kind of started not really liking it when I had it, but eventually the suit did kind of grow on me after I started playing it a bit more, so I did want to do a video covering the buffs it got recently. And this is only, I think, the first suit I'm covering so far. I do have a few more on the bucket list as well that I do plan on I'm trying to cover if I can. Gustav Karl is definitely on that list since that is another suit that I really like. But we're going to start off by looking at the Riggsy Custom here. And just for some basic information, this suit is a native 600 cost general. This is going to be the level 3 700 cost version, and it has a 650 cost variant as well. So 3 versions of the Riggsy Custom, I should say 3 levels, and we do have buffs that do go to each level here, so that's why I do think it is something that is worth mentioning. But starting off with the unit features, and we have a pretty basic start here with the unit HP being increased from 18,500 to 19,500. So yeah, you already have some more HP to work with, which is always a nice start when it comes to unit adjustments. For the unit skill, Special Leg buff for level 1, it was increased to level 2. For the level 2 version of the Riggsy Custom, the skill Special Back add-on buff for level 1 was increased to level 2, and the unit skill Force Injector level 1 was increased to level 2. And for the level 3 version, the Special Back add-on buff for level 2 was increased to level 3, and Force Injector level 1 was increased to level 2. Moving on to the weapons then, we're going to be starting with the main range weapon for the Riggsy Custom here, that being the Beam Assault Rifle. And we have that the cooldown time was shortened from 0.8 seconds to 0.5 seconds. The reload time was shortened from 12 seconds to 10 seconds. And the level 2 power was increased from 630 to 700, and this applies to upper levels as well. This is going to be a trend with a lot of the weapons that are on the unit adjustments here. They are going to be really focused around doing more damage and shortening either the reload or the cooldown time, so that is going to be something that is very repetitive when it comes to the list here. And we're going to start seeing that with our first sub-weapon here, the Arm Grenade Launcher. For this, the cooldown time was shortened from 6 seconds to 5 seconds, and for the level 2 version, the power was increased from 735 to 800, and again this applies to upper levels as well. Next we have the waist-mounted beam gun times 2. The heat rate was reduced from 95% to 85%, and the level 2 power was increased from 840 to 900. Upper levels are also enhanced. And finally we have the 3-tube missile launcher times 2, where the rate of fire has been increased. There is reduced time from firing to impact, and impact, okay, I'm messing up the words there. Then the level 2 power was increased from 630 to 700, and again this applies to the upper levels as well. And that's everything for the Riggsy Custom in its mobile suit mode, but we do also have a few buffs here when it comes to the transformed mode as well. Some of these I do believe are shared with the mobile suit mode, but I will go over them as well just to make sure I don't miss anything. And starting off with the Riggsy Custom transformed unit features, we do have the unit HP was increased from 18,500 to 19,500. So same buff there for the mobile suit, you do have increased HP. The unit skill, Special Leg buff for level 2 was given. And for the level 2 version, the Special Back add-on buff for level 1 was increased to level 2. And for the level 3 version, Special Back add-on buff for level 2 was increased to level 3. So you do have some more defense for the legs when you're in this mode, and then you also have some increased back defense as well, which I do definitely think for this suit it does make sense for the legs, since your legs are just kind of sticking out there when you're transformed, so I can understand why they would add that there. And then you do have one sub-weapon that was buffed, that being the Mega Beam Cannon. For this, the reload time was shortened from 30 seconds to 20 seconds, and then for the level 2 version, the power was increased from 2,940 to 3,100, and then this applies to upper levels as well. So as I mentioned earlier, you can obviously see the trend here. A lot of these buffs are either meant for cooldowns, reloads, overheats, things like that when it comes to the weapons. And then you also have some increased damage as well, which I do think is something that is really nice with this suit. A lot of the damage is also for the level 2 and 3 versions. That's going to be at 650 and 700 costs, which I can completely understand because 650 and 700, there's like a whole lot you have to worry about at those costs. So being able to do just some more damage is definitely a nice thing to have. Especially here, I am using this in, as I mentioned at the start, a 700 cost match. So I am using this suit at its highest level, which is typically where I tend to play it. I don't think I've really ever used the native that much, aside from a few occasions. Most of my, I think, gameplay with this actually comes from the level 2 and 3 versions. But, yeah, that's going to be it for the buff list there. And yeah, again, a lot of good stuff there. You have your standards, like the increase to HP. It does also seem like you do have some increased defense as well when it comes to the legs and the back of the suit. And I do think the changes that they made when it comes to the damage and the reload speed is really going to be helpful, because I do think when it comes to the Rigzy custom, with the way its weapons are structured, the suit does feel like it is meant for suppression, especially when you're in your mobile suit mode as well. You do have the beam assault rifle as your primary, and you also have weapons like the missiles on the back as well, so you can lay down some suppressive fire with that. You also have the grenades and the waist beam guns, which are really good for getting stuns. And then I feel like with the beam saber, they didn't do any changes with the beam saber, which I think that weapon is really fine for the way this suit is structured. I don't think you really would need to do anything with the beam saber to really change that. I think from like the footage I have here, whenever I do use my melee, I feel like I'm getting enough damage to really kind of do anything. And if I'm not really using the beam saber, I might be using one of my other range weapons instead. So yeah, again, really just going back to how I feel like this suit is a bit more meant to be a suppressive fire suit. Really, you want to make use of your range weapons, you know, try to get people in stun locks with the grenades and the beam guns, and then you can use your beam assault rifle and the missiles to get some cumulative damage. So lots of use there. And then for the transform mode, I do think, you know, it's pretty simple for transform mode. I don't think that's another thing I don't think they really could have done too much with. I think the weapons there are fine for the most part, especially since this is one of like the few transformable suits I do use the transform mode very often. So yeah, I think that's also fine as well. So I would say overall I'm pretty satisfied with the buffs that we got for it. And real quick, just going to take a look at the win stats here. Did get top in assist, and yeah, second place overall with 1 kill and 2 loss. But I did get third in damage dealt, which is really nice. And yeah, that's going to be the end of the match there. And yeah, really just wrapping up what I'm saying. I think I'm satisfied with the buffs that the suit got. Really just from my experience playing this suit before and after the buff, I think it's pretty alright. I think it's going to help it, again, just with those reload times and the extra bits of damage at higher costs. If you feel like this is a suit that you have to use, since really I feel like Rigzy Custom is not a suit I see at higher costs too often. It's definitely not one of those suits that I think is like, oh, like you never see this thing. I definitely see Rigzy Customs at higher cost, even prior to this. But, yeah, I think for the most part it's a pretty good buff. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video here. I do want to get more of these buff suits out. Again, Gustav Call is definitely on my list for the future. I do need to look at the full unit adjustments though, just so I have more of a game plan for what I might try to aim for, but that's going to be the end of this video here. Comment down below what you think about the buffed Rigzy Custom. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and with that, I will see you all in the next one. Later.